Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is Fatou Bensouda. She is, for a few more days, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court. She is leaving her position after 9 years on June the 15th. Thank you for being with us from The Hague.
Thank you very much for having me.
Mrs. Bensouda, you just returned from your last trip before leaving your position, and you were in a very symbolic place for the ICC in Sudan, and for the first time, as far as I understand, in Darfur. And for a decade, Sudan was seen maybe as the illustration of the shortcomings of the ICC. There was an arrest warrant against the then president Omar al-Bashir for 10 years. He traveled through Africa, nevertheless. However, he was ousted 2 years ago by a popular revolt. He's now behind bars. So you obviously discussed his potential transfer to the ICC with the transitional authorities. Is Omar al-Bashir going to The Hague anytime soon?
First and foremost, I will tell you that this was a very historic visit indeed. Very, very important for the work of the ICC. And you said it. This is a situation that was really very desperate for the office and international criminal justice, because we investigated, warrants were issued, and you saw all the difficulties and the politicization that we had in this case of Sudan. But things are different now. There is a new government in place. And immediately this happened, we were able to seize the opportunity to engage the new government. You will see that also for the first time, it was we had an opportunity for complementarity, and all that is within the Rome Statute for us to do. I seized the opportunity to go to Sudan itself and met with the authorities. This was since October of last year. And last week, just this week, I came back yesterday. I had the opportunity to visit the affected communities, to be able to speak with them, to be able to interact with them, and also manage the expectations that they have, but also to assure them that justice will be done and that the ICC has never and will never abandon them as victims of these crimes. So this was particularly important for that message to be sent, and for that interaction, especially to have the interaction and see live this what is happening in the camps. And you saw, I'm sure, the images. You see that they themselves have always been passionate about justice. They have been very resilient. They have not given up hope. So I think this is we are very much in a very more helpful place than we were before. I also was able to meet with the authorities, and amongst our discussions was the surrender of those who have been indicted by the ICC, the warrants that are outstanding, the execution of those warrants. I discussed with them. And of course, former President Omar al-Bashir is one of those warrants one of those whose warrant is outstanding for execution. And we have discussed that, and we have not yet had a definite response on this, but certainly the authorities in Sudan are willing to engage in the discussions and see what are the best steps that we can take to ensure that justice is done.
So is there an opportunity for him to go to The Hague? You believe that this is indeed a real possibility in the very near future?
Well, it is a possibility, but as I said, nothing has been concretized yet.
Okay.
There must be this dialogue, there must be this engagement, because obviously also, due to the principle of complementarity, the Sudanese themselves are also thinking about this. It's not, which is a right they have under the Rome Statute, if they are willing and able to investigate and prosecute. So these are all part of the discussions that are ongoing with regards to the situation in Darfur.
Right. I want to turn to the Ivory Coast. The former president, Laurent Gbagbo, has announced that he would go back to his country on June 17th. This is a month after his final acquittal. This is obviously probably one of your biggest failure.
Again, I never want to accept that this is a failure. It is not a failure in the sense that what we have been trying to do as the institution that has the mandate to do it, is to investigate and to prosecute crimes, especially on behalf of the victims who have suffered. Nobody will say that people have not died in Cote d'Ivoire after that violence. Nobody will say that crimes have not been committed. In fact, even the judges who have decided finally have agreed that indeed crimes have taken place in Cote d'Ivoire. So we were not just there to prosecute a leader. We were there to do justice, which is our mandate. So I do not think that it is fair to say that this is a failure. The judges have decided, right, finally. It was my responsibility as prosecutor to make sure that I go through the whole process of trying to find justice up to the end. And this is what I do. I just did my duty, my responsibility, as dictated by the Rome Statute.
Right. What about your repeated promises that you would investigate the quote-unquote other side? I mean, you've said this repeatedly here, other places, but nothing is happening. Will something really happen to investigate the pro-Ouattara camp as it's described?
Again, I will re-emphasize that indeed, just as I promised from the very beginning, there is a Cote d'Ivoire too, and investigations are going in this situation. This is not an untruth. This is not a promise that I just made like that. We have been investigating. Of course, we've had challenges with respect to this investigation, in the sense that we had the issue of the pandemic. We also had other problems that prevented us maybe to make as much speed as we would have wanted. But I can tell you that that particular investigation has also significantly advanced. And this is Cote d'Ivoire too that I have spoken about all the time. Maybe we are not yet in a position now to make public announcement about what is going on. But I can assure you that in that situation of Cote d'Ivoire too, investigations have been going on. It's significantly advanced. And at the right moment, whether I am here or I'm not here, at the right moment, the results of that investigations will be made public.
Right, including arrest warrants.
The results will be made public.
Very quickly, because we don't have that much time. Gaza, obviously the latest round of violence, compared to the previous violence rounds, an official investigation has been opened since last March. This was hotly debated. The Israeli authorities, the prime minister has said this is pure anti-Semitism. Are you closely looking at the issue as we speak?
Well, yes, indeed. I will refer you to a tweet or a statement I made in that tweet publicly when the violence started. I joined the other, the international community to also ask for a calm and restraint on both sides on what was happening in Gaza. But I also took the opportunity to remind that after we sought clarification and obtained it from the judges of the ICC, investigations into the situation in Gaza has opened. Therefore, we will be looking into all the crimes that fall within the jurisdiction of the ICC, at least since 2014. I have taken also the opportunity to inform that the current events that are taking place in the 11 days war, as it is now being called, that all those events will also part of those that we are looking for in the course of our investigations. So this I have already publicly said, and this is where we are. As you know, after the judges gave us the clarity that we sought with respect to our jurisdiction in the situation in Palestine, I had publicly announced that investigations are opened.
Right.
And investigations are ongoing right now.
As a result of your move on Palestine as well as Afghanistan, you were put under sanction by the Trump administration. Those sanctions have now been lifted. Just in retrospect, was this your most difficult time as prosecutor when the United States decided to put you on a sanction list?
Well, you would say that it's one of the difficult times that I have encountered as prosecutor of the ICC, because, as you know, in this work that we do in this job, there will always be those who will criticize and those who will even praise. But that is not what we are here for. We are here to do the job that the Rome Statute has mandated us to do, independently and impartially. And indeed, the situation that I encountered and my office encountered, even the ICC encountered not long ago with the Trump administration's imposition of the sanctions, was a difficult moment and was also an unfortunate moment, because this was an attack on the court, attack on my office and on my person and that of my staff for doing our legitimate work, our work that we have been mandated to do under the Rome Statute. And we were sanctioned for that. I was personally sanctioned for that. I was treated, in fact, that sanction is usually reserved for human rights abusers. And it is also reserved maybe for definitely those who commit very serious crimes and atrocities. I was sanctioned for doing my legitimate work. And it did create problems for me, especially operationally, but it did not stop me from doing the work I was supposed to do. And this I think, has the record is there for everyone to see. We're very happy. We're really welcome the idea that the Biden administration has decided to lift those sanctions, and that we are both the ICC and the U.S. administration is looking towards re-engaging. Because I must say that prior to these sanctions, prior to the Trump administration, despite the fact that the U.S. is not a state party to the Rome Statute, we have always had a very good working relationship. We have had cooperations, and this has worked in the past until on the unfortunate events that took place during the Trump era. So we are looking, ICC is looking to re-engaging, as the U.S. is also looking to re-engage. This has also been said publicly by them several times. And we definitely look to that re-engagement based on mutual respect and also based on constructive dialogue. So we're ready for that as well.
Just very quickly, I understand that you've been looking at the situation in Venezuela very closely. Will there be the opening of an investigation into that situation before you leave?
I will here just refer you to my latest preliminary examination report, in which I explain where we are. I had, for the situation of Venezuela, always indicated that we have been in the process of examining the situation in Venezuela, and that the criteria, most of the criteria that is needed for a preliminary examination phase to be ended has been met. This is also in the public domain, and you can see that. Recently, however, I'm sure you have seen that Venezuela has engaged the chamber to say that the chamber should intervene with respect to our preliminary examination, and also because they are not getting the cooperation that they need from the office, which I must say, with all due respect, is incorrect. I have engaged, my office has engaged extensively with Venezuela, even with the highest authorities who engage with us. And we've been doing that, and this is a matter, of course, that we will also make known to the chamber. It doesn't remove the fact that I have gone significantly, I have advanced significantly in the situation in Venezuela. And we hope to be able to, after this filing, which the judges will have to decide, I cannot say more on that, but after this filing, we will also be in a position to make public our findings on Venezuela.
Just very, very quickly, we're really running out of time. What's next for you? President of Gambia, maybe? First and foremost, I believe, Mark, I deserve a rest.
So I'm going to take some time just to relax and collect my thoughts. But as I always say, until the last day that I leave the ICC, that I leave this office as prosecutor, my focus is on that. After that, we will see.
Fatou Bensouda, I want to thank you very much for granting one of your last interviews before leaving your position to France 24, and thank you all for watching it.